there's some interesting things going on with detention and demurrage today. And the first thing that professionals in transportation are being asked now is, how much are you spending on detention and demurrage? And surprisingly, some organizations just don't have a good handle on that. The containers that shippers use to move their cargo are actually rented from the carriers, and you pay for the rental of that container for the duration of the journey. Now, when a container arrives into a port of discharge where it's going to get off the ship, it's got a certain number of days that it can stay in that port before it starts incurring a fee called demurrage. And then detention is the fee that the carriers charge you for the rental of that container once it leaves the port of discharge until you return it back. As soon as the ship arrives at port and starts to unload, that starts the clock for the demurrage fees. And some of that can be managed and monitored by you, but in fact, a lot of that is outside of your control. And so you can't really make the port move any faster. And so the key thing is to take care of those things that are inside your control. And one of those in particular is making sure you have the documentation that's necessary for you to clear port and clear the customs at that port of discharge. The average international shipment can have upwards of 15 documents that are required, some at the port of origin, some at the port of discharge. But those documents are needed at the right time. You need a system to be able to keep track of who's responsible for those documents, when are they necessary to be present, and then which of those documents are required for any given shipment. Because it's complex, right? There's some countries that require certain certificates of origin, some countries like the United States that requires a specific ISF filing to be done before your container gets loaded on the vessel at the port of load. So what this means is if you don't have that document and it's not ready on time, your container won't get loaded. Same at the port of discharge. If you don't have the right customs documents, then your stuff isn't going to get off and it's not going to get through customs in time. So you need to have visibility into the documents so that you know they're there and they're complete and they're on time. One of the things that is so important with this chaotic supply chain ecosystem is to make sure that you have visibility from end to end of all the exceptions that take place in the supply chain journey. What kind of exceptions are we talking about here? Well, obviously, when a container gets stuck at the port of load because you didn't get your documentation in on time, that's certainly an exception. Other exceptions might include containers getting stuck in customs or containers that are dwelling for too long. And that's why it's so critical that you have a system that helps you identify those exceptions that are most important to your business and are things that you can take care of. So with all of this happening, what do we need to do? We need to have analytic dashboards that give us the visibility to see the trends that are happening and give us the actionable information that tells us what we should do about it. We need to have exception reporting and notifications that tell us when a container is about to collect detention or demurrage fees. And we need to have systems that allow us to share that information effectively and reliably so that we can take the actions that are necessary to reduce our detention and demurrage fees and make transportation as efficient and cost-effective as possible. And so we deliver that system. We deliver to our customers the ability for you to see the trends and the notifications, and for you to be able to get a handle on that detention and demurrage fee that's been hitting you so hard this year, and be able to take the action necessary to reduce it in the coming months.